Hey, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? Just somebody show me a thumbs up. Good? Okay, awesome. So I wanted to do something a little different today because it's Sunday. I don't know. But I wanted to do more of like an Instagram teaching power hour that's focusing on just being super genuine and networking. I think my Instagram rocks, and I think I do Instagram really well. So I wanted to just teach you guys what I know, what I do, and hopefully maybe teach you something that you can maybe tweak or do a little bit differently to totally like just level up your business. I am recording this, so if for some reason, let's just say you only have an hour to work and you need to invite today or you need to follow up today, you can always, let's just say, watch this later if you need to do an actual inviting power hour now. And if you're seasoned and you feel like your Instagram rocks, maybe this call isn't for you, but I hope you hang out with us anyway. My name is Meghan Mosakowski. Any comments or questions that you guys have, just put them in the chat and I'll try to answer them towards the end or in the middle. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my phone with you so I can kind of show you a couple of things. And we will just go ahead and get started. Michelle, I don't know where you find all of the recordings. I'm personally recording this, so I will share this with all of the leaders that are running the power hours. So I will share this with them. So just ask your leader or your upline for it and they can share it with you. And if for some reason they don't or you can't get a hold of them, just message me on social media and I'll try to get to it within a day or two. But I don't know that everybody's recording their own. I'm just recording this because some of the girls on my team had specifically asked me to record this for them. So I am, okay, hang on one second. I have a little busy signal. All right, I think we're good. Can you guys see my screen? Thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. So before we get into the whole networking on Instagram thing, I think it's important to realize that your storefront is everything. So I am just going to briefly kind of just go through what I think is important. Number one, I think it's really important that your profile photo be a photo of you that clearly shows you. If you are a family of 6, have it be a photo of you, because sometimes when you have a photo that has, multiple people in it, it's hard to see your face and then people don't really know who they're connecting with. And I think it's really important that that photo be of you, not a dog, you guys know. The next thing that I think is really important is having your bio represent you and not Beachbody. So again, every coach is going to be completely different. So this is just my 2 cents and what I think is important, not to say that it's right or wrong, but I personally feel like having things like Beachbody, fitness, health and fitness coach, online coach, I think all of that stuff scares people away. So those are things that I personally tell my girls to avoid putting in their page. Beachbody links are a definite hard no for me because I want somebody to see me for who I am, because I'm not an employee of Beachbody. I don't represent them. That's just something that I do along with all of the other things that make me who I am. So one of the things that I like to think of, if you were going to, I know that most of you guys might have a significant other or a spouse, but if you didn't, just hypothetically for this little exercise, if you were going to go speed dating right now and you saw somebody that you were really interested in, but you only had 5 minutes to make a really good impression, what are the things that like they would need to know about you immediately in order to figure out if you guys would jive together? And that's what your bio should show. And that's what your recent photos should show. So if you do an audit of your page and it's like really obvious that you're into multi-level marketing, network marketing, Beachbody, and there's like the Shakeology, selfies and stuff like that, as much as we do this networking stuff that I'm going to teach you guys, you might be freaking people out and scaring people off. So I try to have my feed be a curated, accurate representation of what my life is like. And I put a lot of the Beachbody stuff in my stories because that's where people who like me already are going to come and watch. And then actually, as we go into some of the things that I do, I want you guys to know that a certain amount of followers is not going to blow up your business. Having X amount of likes on a photo is not going to blow up your business. But you know what? If you can genuinely find 6 people that like you really like rock with, they can help you build a six-figure business. So really focus on what matters and what counts and not the numbers, because I see so many new coaches, like this person has this many likes, and like none of that stuff matters, guys. Okay. So I really want you guys to have the intention of how many people can I be friends with on Instagram today, and not necessarily how can I build my Instagram and have X amount of followers and find more followers, because there's something in the karma of this business that rewards good intentions and not the other way around. Okay, so I have notes. I don't have slides. So again, if you have a pen and paper and you want to write down some of these things, I'm going to kind of go through some of the things that I do every single day when I do my power hour. Okay, so before I get into some of the categories, I want you guys to think before we start actually working, how you feel when you see someone like 30 of your photos. Do any of you feel like that person's really trying to get to know you? Right? And we see these trainings like throughout like our business and others that like tell you guys to do this, like go like a ton of photos, go follow like 200 people mindlessly. And I want you guys to think of how you feel when you see that stuff on your account, right? Like if you feel and can sense that somebody's 5'3" wanting you, do you just automatically feel like they're in network marketing, right? Or do you feel like they're going to be your bestie next week? You kind of get that vibe in that sense. And you have to understand that we're not the only multi-level marketing company out there. And there's what, like 300 or 400,000 of us. And there's that many people doing all of these other companies who are all doing this networking on their Instagram. And normal people can smell it from a mile away. So think of how you are when you get a genuine comment or a genuine anything on your pages versus the kind of scammy stuff that some of us, and I've done it. We all have made mistakes and done different things, but I think this works so much better. So I want you guys to think, we're going to start with stuff that's local. So I want you guys to think of things that are close to you where you live. So restaurants, bars, parks, beaches, grocery stores, shops, local businesses. Maybe there's a cupcake shop, or maybe there's a really cute like women's clothing boutique or something that's close to where you live. Different gyms, right? Like there's so many different types of gyms and fitness studios, whether that be Pilates, bar, there's like UFC gyms out there, different theaters or like places that host events. Think of all of those things that are within like a 30-mile radius from where you live. And I want you guys to look and find accounts that represent those things. And what I will do, I'm going to share my screen again. And feel free to mute me if I'm talking too much and you just want to work. Okay. What I will do, so there's this boutique that I love that's by me. It's called Water Lily. What I will do is I will look at the tagged photos first. And this is funny. This is actually my coach and my coach's wife. But I will look and see who's tagging their photos, right? And then I will try to find those people and connect with them specifically. And you can see like, this is my photo here. And I'm trying to, when I take my photos, I'm tagging these businesses and these shops because I want people who might be looking at these shops to find me. So another thing that I might do is look at the followers. And then I'm going to find women that live near me that are, and this is the thing that I hear all the time. Like whenever I'm like on Instagram and I'm trying to network, all I find are Beachbody coaches. If you do things I never find them. I never come across Beachbody coaches, but I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily do this, but this is how I'll find normal people. And obviously you need their profile to be public in order for you to like genuinely connect with them. But that's essentially what I'm doing. So what I do when I actually find somebody that I think I can connect with, I will look for something that I can realistically connect with. So if let's just say it's a restaurant and somebody's posting a picture of like a meal, I might message them and be like, oh my goodness, I saw this restaurant pop up. I've always wanted to go there. How is it with kids? Like, can I bring my 2-year-old there and like not be a weirdo? And like a normal, genuine question. What you don't want to do, and I know that the 5-3-1 method works, but it only works if you do it correctly the way that a lot of us are teaching. But if you like 5 photos and like you comment like cute hearts and like other BS, somebody's going to see right through that, and you might as well spend your time doing something else. But find ways that you can genuinely connect with people that live locally near you. I'm going to go on mute. We'll do this for maybe a couple of minutes, and then I'll kind of move on to the next category of things. Okay, so the next category of things that I look for on Instagram is travel. It's like one of my favorite things ever. So maybe you're traveling somewhere this year. And if you're not, guess what? I'm sure you have something on your vision board or bucket list, right? I'm sure you all have New Leader Conference on your bucket list. So you can always think of that. If you're going on the Success Club trip in Punta Cana coming up, you can think of that, or Mexico, or anything else, places that you would want to go. So I personally think of destinations, hotels, and I'll write all these in the comments too. Different restaurants in that area. So let's just say you know that you're going to, I don't know, you're going to Florida and you know where you're staying. You're staying in Sanibel. Looking at, like, let's just say TripAdvisor and some of those top restaurants, guess what? They all have Instagram accounts. Boom, all these different avenues of places that you can look for people. Cruise lines, different beaches, different state parks, different hikes. If you're a Disney freak, you know who you are. You know who you all are. There's tons of different accounts and hashtags and things that you can look at for that. There's Universal, and then there's also different types of like vacations, like Sandals, Club Med, beaches, all of those different types of hotel chains. But think of everything and anything, and I'll show you really quickly an example of what I'll do. And this would be a really cool vision board thing for you guys to actually put into action. Because let's just say you have this thing where you're like dying to take your whole family to like Disney. What if you start messaging people saying like, hey, I'm going to Disney later in the year and I'm taking my whole family. Where could I go? Or did you like this hotel? Or where are places that you would recommend eating? Is this pass worth it? Like, do that and it'll be more realistic about you achieving that anyway. But so I'm obsessed with Sanibel. This is the hotel that I got married at, and I vacation here often. So what I'll do is go to that hotel, I'll look at the tagged photos, and then I will look for women that look normal. A lot of times too, you have to look like there'll be like a lot of like photographers and like event people with hotels, but you can kind of sift through them. Um, but she looks like a normal person, but I would message her or find that photo and maybe comment on it and be like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this place too. I go once a year. Like, where's your favorite place to eat? Genuine connections. She will probably respond to that as opposed to love the bathing suit, girl. Like, what is there to say back to that? You know what I mean? So if you engage and ask questions and really, really try to make that meaningful connection, it will really take your Instagram networking from like here to here. And what I'll usually do is I'll do that whether I message or comment. And if she comments back and we can kind of go back and forth a couple times, maybe I'll go like 2 photos and then I'll follow her. But it seems more genuine than like, follow, and just hoping and praying that somebody follows you back. So that's what I do for travel. Bed and breakfast also, whatever you guys can think of. But if you have any ideas that are different than mine, put them in the chat and then I'll go on mute. I'll write all of these things in the chat if you want to take a screenshot of it to make your life easier. And we can work on this for a couple of minutes. And this is a common question that I get a lot, like, how do you transition? And here's the thing, if you have the outlook of, I started 10 conversations, how can I transition these? You never will, and somebody will sniff it out. I have the intention every day of how many people can I make friends with and how can these people help me, like with baby stuff, with travel, authentic conversations. Some of them naturally transition. Sometimes people will ask me what I'm doing, but I don't go from like, oh, this hotel sounds great. Want to learn about my challenge group? Like it just doesn't work that way. And I never force a conversation. And a lot of these people, and again, consistency is the name of the game, right? So months later, when they're watching my stories and watching my feed because we've kind of made that authentic connection. A lot of times they're clicking on my polls and my stories, or they'll start watching my stories day after day. And that's when I feel comfortable inviting them because now you're watching me, now you're interested, and now you're coming to my stories daily to see what I'm doing. And that's where all my Beachbody stuff is. So I don't focus on transitioning these conversations at all when I'm having them. I'm just honestly looking to make friends. And I know that that sounds cheesy and cliche, but that works for my business. So I just want to answer this question from Anna. So I usually work my Instagram for 30 to 60 minutes a day. And if this is the first time you're working your Instagram like this, it might take some troubleshooting to kind of find what accounts you like and your methods of doing this. But like I already know like what my go-to travel accounts are. I already know what my pregnancy hashtags are. So when I'm going to work, like I'm laser focused and I just know my routine. And you just might need to kind of get familiar with this kind of a practice to get good at it where you don't feel like you're wasting time, if that makes sense. But we will move into my life phase category. And this is going to be different for everyone. So things that I think of, your family size. Are you a mom of boys or girls? Do you not have kids at all? Do you have twins, multiples? Are you pregnant? That's like my jam right now. I love pregnancy on Instagram. Postpartum, breastfeeding, and then different illnesses and conditions only if you have them, because otherwise that's gross. But things like for me, infertility, PCOS, maybe you have some kind of an autoimmune condition that you share about often. I know like breast implant, explant stuff is kind of like hot on Instagram right now. Different sports that your kids might be into, activities. Maybe your kids are older and they're looking for colleges. If you have a dog, what kind of dog is that? And for activities, like I think of like my son's doing swim schools or swim lessons right now. So I'm trying to like find other moms that are doing swim lessons and things like that in different places near me. But same concept. And we'll work on this for a couple of minutes and I will put this in here. Ooh, blended family stuff is really cool too. But I'll put all of these ideas in the chat right now too. I'll show you one example if you happen to be pregnant, which I am right now. But so Bump Dated is kind of like a popular site for pregnancy, right? So I don't necessarily look at the photos being used or the people who are in those photos because usually more often than not, if a photo is being reshared, it's probably by somebody who's trying to work their Instagram. And there's a lot of followers, so that would be a lot to sift through. And then a lot of times I feel like people who are tagging accounts like this are also trying to work their Instagram. So what I like to do for accounts like this, I will find a photo that might resonate with me. So let's just say hypothetically, I pick this one. What I'll do for this type of big account is look at the comments because women, and I would have to, I see a lot of like IVF and infertility stuff. I would have to be able to relate to this authentically in order to actually engage with the women who are engaging here. But, you know, I did go through my own version of what I went through, but to be able to connect with other women and maybe commenting and like wishing them luck or support or good vibes or sending them baby dust or whatever feels authentic and genuine and kind, that could be a way for you to build a relationship genuinely with somebody. But you have to tread lightly when you're in topics and areas like this because you never want to be insensitive or come across like you're trying to like network them. You know what I mean? But there's so many happy things and, you know, positive things that you can do. But if you are pregnant, there's so many things that you can find with accounts like this, especially like twins, multiples. My God, that's such a niche. Oh, and look, here's our number one coach. But comments are where it's at for sure. Hopefully that helps. All right. So Jolene was finding a lot of Beachbody coaches and people that were into fitness. And one of the hashtags she was using was mom of three. What do you guys see as the problem with that? See how many people are using that hashtag? Tons and tons and tons of people. It's a very, very basic hashtag. So, what I would do, let's just say you have three boys, which probably slim to none, but that's a more like specific, like niche hashtag where you're more likely to find people that are exactly like you. But you can use this tactic with any hashtag that you might use and finding different hashtags that are popular, you know. In terms of Myrtle Beach, that was the other one that she was using. That's probably a really popular one too. But instead of looking at Myrtle Beach and being so basic, like 2.3 million, like the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina one might work better and use the tips that I told you, right? So, like, go to TripAdvisor, look at Myrtle Beach, and then look at the top hotels, the top restaurants, the top beaches, the top things, and you're more likely to find like real people in those specific niches as opposed to just like New York City or LA, if that makes sense. And hopefully that helps. Okay. The next thing that I was going to do are things that pertain to you. So some of those things are going to be brands, products, different accounts or bloggers or people that you might follow, DIY design, if you're into that kind of a thing, various types of food, cocktails, hobbies, you name it. And just to kind of show you an example of something that I'm into right now. So I'm going to be moving soon. And I want like built-ins everywhere. So again, I'm not really looking to like just grow my like I'm looking to like help myself with like whatever is currently going on in my life. And that changes like month to month, year to year. I wasn't looking at the hashtag DIY built-ins 3 years ago because it was a hot hashtag. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really think of who you are and what you're doing. But if I click on that, now a lot of these top posts are going to be from bloggers or influencers in that space, right? So I'm not necessarily looking to network with them, but there's probably a lot of people that follow somebody like that. So this chick is like apparently a big DIY person. But who do you think her followers are? Other women just like me who are looking to do DIY projects. So if I click on one of her photos and I open up these comments, I will look at maybe women who are asking questions. Like, was this hard? This looks amazing. And I might message them like, hey, did you like, because if this was, let's just say a couple of weeks ago or whatever, like, I'm looking to start a project. Did you start yours yet? And you can have like a normal conversation. And again, I'm not finding a lot of coaches with this method, but it is 100% true and authentic to what is currently going on in my life. So think of whatever is going on with you and things that you like. And you might be obsessed with like a hair care brand or a face product line. Or there just might be like a clothing lifestyle influencer that you may love to follow, and looking at the comments that person is getting on their feed, and that might help you make connections with people that are active on Instagram as well. So to answer Alicia's question, if somebody's been following me for a while and doesn't engage, so I'm going to assume that that's stories. I personally don't pay attention to followers. But if somebody's been watching my stories for, a consistently long amount of time and they don't answer my messages, they might not see them. They might not know that they're even there. Messages from people that you've never talked to sometimes get like hidden. So I might connect with them on their photos, compliment them, support them, and just see if I can get a response that way. Okay, so if you guys want to continue working, mute me. But I'm going to answer some of the questions that I've seen. And if any of you have questions about literally anything else, we can take the last like 6 minutes to kind of go through these. Okay, so hashtags was a question up a bit. I personally don't focus on hashtags as much anymore. I focus on everything that I told you guys that I focus on this call. And I find that the average mom who's just trying to survive her life is really not using hashtags that much. Like she's not going to take the time to hashtag everything that she's wearing and using in her photos. I find that things that are related to like dogs, food, and pregnancy, breastfeeding, and all that kind of nonsense, that is still heavily hashtagged, I believe anyway. But I focus more on locations and all of the things that I discussed with you guys. I still will use hashtags in my posts because why not? We can. And if I can get more exposure and maybe somebody stumbling upon me, awesome. And I like to think of hashtags more like a search engine now. So if you saw like DIY built-ins, that's so specific, and anybody looking to do that kind of a thing is going to look that up, kind of like how Pinterest or Google would be, as opposed to, I don't know, like sweating for the wedding. Like that's so 2000 whatever, you know? So that's kind of what I do with that. As far as when to bring up Beachbody, again, it really depends, and there's really no answer for this. But I have had coaches on my team who have been like, what's going on? I'm not hitting Success Club 10, but I'm inviting 200 people a day. Maybe that's your problem. Maybe you're focused too much on trying to sell and you're not focusing on relationships, which is the hallmark of this business. So I'm not trying to tell you guys like don't invite and only do this. You have to do everything on that business activity tracker, and you have to be consistent and evenly distribute your time however it works for your business. But relationship building and doing things genuinely is huge. And that is why, like, all of these women that I might connect with in my pregnancy, I'm not necessarily looking to transition them in any conversation, but you better believe as time goes on, they're gonna join me. And some of my diamonds followed me for several months or a year before they committed and took off. And it's really a longevity business. And I know that all of us would love to have the instant gratification of just talking to somebody, converting them, and selling to them, but it doesn't always work that way. But if you can get somebody at least intrigued into who you are and what you're about, and they start following your stories or watching your stories, and like, hell yeah, like go for it and just invite them. Like, I have, this coming up and blah, 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 this kind of a group. Would you ever want to learn more about it? Do your invite, do your thing. If they're watching you, it's not a cold invite. But trying to, unnaturally transition somebody in a random conversation could come across as a little icky. Um, yeah. And to Kate too, like you have to experiment. I've done it all. Like I've done the 100 invites or 30 invites or whatever it is in like a day or a week. And always coming back to this usually works best for me now. Any other questions? Got like 5 minutes left. And again, guys, like your leaders might be teaching you different things that might be better than what I'm doing or might be different. This is just for me personally what I do and what works best for me, but you have to do what works best for you. And sometimes that takes experimenting for sure to find your jive. So Facebook is usually people that you know, or people that know you, or people that you have mutual friends with. So to me, they're kind of already warm market. So I think it's just a different game altogether. But again, experiment. It depends. Like if you like literally know somebody on Facebook that like you guys work in the same hospital or in the same school district, invite, like go for it. Where, Instagram, if you're just trying to connect with a random mom that also has twins, you might have to warm up to that person before you can invite them. And yeah, this is what I do. And guys, like I've tried, like I don't know if you guys have seen like the Jace networking video, which like is pretty like baller. I've tried that too. Like I've tried it all. I've done it all. And no one way is bad. I just think for me, this is better and this works best for me. But I will always experiment. And if I see a Beachbody champion video tomorrow that has a successful coach that's doing X, Y, and Z, you better believe I'm going to try that. Why not? What do I have to lose? You know, there's no one right way of doing anything. Yeah. I'm sure if you go on the Beachbody champions page and you type in Jace, she has a pretty baller networking video that a lot of people rave about that works really well for a lot of people. So don't hesitate to try different things and different tactics because, you know, it all works for different people. I built my following doing exactly what I taught you guys on this call. um, Hashtags is not, you know, currently my focus. And like I just mentioned, I've experimented with different things along the way, but this has been what has worked best. Um, and different things change too. Like I had a post that I did. It was kind of like when I found out that I was pregnant this time, I went through, you know, infertility and I spontaneously got pregnant this time, which was like insane. But I shared my initial like face when I found out with the test, as well as the video that I took when my parents found out and when my husband found out. That post like went viral, got shared by a bunch of different accounts. And within a matter of week, I had like 4,000 extra followers. So, you know, yes, it was organic, but different things happen to different coaches and it just depends on what's going on with their feed. Yay, I'm happy it was helpful. And yeah, if you're only finding coaches, look deeper, try something different, tweak what you're looking at, tweak the things that you're like the accounts and hashtags. There's always something deeper, like one level deep than what you're doing, where you can really kind of like shave off the coaches and the people working their business. Yes, look for friends. There's the karma is real, guys. I swear, you have to have the right intention in the morning because if you're looking for Success Club points, whatever Beachbody gods are out there are like, nope, nope, and it just doesn't happen. And look for things that are going to help you in your life, you know, like if you're newly pregnant, look for people that are going to help support you. If you're a mom of two and you're going through potty training, look for moms that can help you and give you tips. If you're moving, traveling, like this way, you're not working. You're benefiting your life by learning shit that you can use and apply, you know? So that's why like this never is annoying to me because I'm always using things that can help me in my day-to-day life and it never feels like work. So you have to really find what's authentic to you because if you just do what I'm doing, it'll feel like work. And if you're just doing what Ashley Molstead is doing, it might feel like work. So you really have to look at your life and what's going to work for you. All right, that is it, guys. Yeah, I'll be on 2 Sundays from now, not next Sunday, the Sunday after that. Hope you enjoyed it. I will share this with all of your leaders tomorrow. I'll get to it. But if for some reason you can't find it, ask them first, then ask me. But it'll take me a little bit to get it up. So have a great Sunday, guys, and I will see you guys later.